I'm not going to lie to you. I get pissed off sometimes when certain things happen. You know, Doc Rivers was fired as the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers yesterday. Tuesday to be exact. I got news for y'all, ladies and gentlemen. Doc Rivers is a friend. I love the man. I've known him for over a quarter century. Having said that, I'm not here to defend him. Despite being a top 10 coach in wins all time, with the other 9 coaches who've achieved over 1,000 coaching victories in their career, all being in the Hall of Fame, despite being in the playoffs an inordinate amount of times, despite being a champion in 2008 and got in the Boston Celtics to an NBA Finals berth where they lost to Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers in Game 7 of the 2010 NBA Finals. Success as a playoff team in Boston, in LA with the Clippers, in Philadelphia with the 76ers, guiding them to the playoffs all 3 years. 24 years in the NBA as a coach, uninterrupted. Orlando, Boston, LA, and Philly. I am not here to defend Doc Rivers. I think he's a great coach. I think he knows what the hell he's doing. But I'm also very big on mandates. He took the job knowing he was succeeding a guy by the name of Brett Brown, whose crime as a coach was that he couldn't get the Philadelphia 76ers out of the second round. Joel Embiid was a member of his team. Jimmy Butler was a member of his team. Ben Simmons was a member of his team. And what have you, Tobias Harris was a member of his team. And the Philadelphia 76ers got to a Game 7 of an Eastern Conference semifinals a few years ago, 2019 to be exact, if I remember correctly, where Kawhi Leonard had a ball bounce on the rim 4 different times before falling through the net and sending the Philadelphia 76ers home, sent Joel Embiid crying into the arms of his girlfriend at the time in the hallways of the Toronto arena. We saw all of that. And ultimately, Brett Brown would lose to Boston another year, and the Philadelphia 76ers felt compelled to make a change, and they brought in Doc Rivers 3 years ago. He knew what the mandate was. The mandate was to get the 76ers out of the second round. He gets them out of the second round. Doc Rivers is the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers today. Having said that, we saw what happened when they were up 3-2. In Game 6. We saw how awful James Harden played. Joel Embiid wasn't much better, by the way, the reigning league MVP. But Game 7 should give us all cause to pause. The Philadelphia 76ers quit. Now, to some degree, you hold the coach accountable for that because it's your job to galvanize the troops and make sure they give you max effort. They got their ass kicked by the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum dropped 51. You saw that show he put on? That was an ass kicking, no doubt. But I find it odd that James Harden drops 45 in Game 1, 42 in a Game 4. But the other 5 games of this series, because it went 7, James Harden, a 3-time scoring champion, a former league MVP, couldn't score more than 4 baskets in a game. Don't y'all find that odd? Now I ain't making no accusations. I'm not doing that. I'm simply asking a question. Don't y'all find that odd? You can't score more than 4 baskets? Now, I will make a defense of James Harden from this standpoint. Boston can defend. They don't need to double most of the time. Tatum, Brown, Robert Williams III, Al Horford, Marcus Smart, Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon, and these boys, they don't have to double. They don't need help. They can defend straight up. I get that. And they can suffocate you too. But 5 of 7 games, James Harden, notorious for folding in big games. I'm not going to say he choked. Because I've seen some games where he just tried and it just went fall, and I get that. But 5 games, you can't score more than 4 field goals in a game? 5 times? You can't get to the free throw line? You can't make something happen? I'm not even disgusted by that. Where I'm really disgusted is that Mike D'Antoni is a head coaching candidate for the Philadelphia 76ers job. Mike D'Antoni, the man you should take the D out of his name because he don't know the definition of defense. That Mike D'Antoni. That Mike D'Antoni that's never won a conference championship, let alone an NBA championship. But somehow, some way, every damn time there's a job opening, his name surfaces. I mean, this brother, the hell with cats. This is the man with 9 lives. It's amazing. He's coached in Phoenix. He's coached in New York. He's coached in LA with the Lakers. He's coached in Houston. He's coached Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, Joe Johnson, and the Matrix, Shawn Marion. He's coached Melo in New York City. He's coached Kobe in LA. He's coached Harden with and without Chris Paul. With and without Russell Westbrook in Houston. This is Mike D'Antoni. No championship, 0 to show for it. So why is he a head coaching candidate? Because James Harden loves him. That's why. And Daryl Morey, in turn, loves him because he loves all things James Harden. James Harden got Doc Rivers fired. I'm not throwing shade on James Harden. I'm just giving you facts. I wouldn't even mind if James Harden got Doc Rivers fired if James Harden lost a game 7, but he dropped 40. But when you stink up the joint, why the hell should you have any influence? And the problem with it is that what is D'Antoni known for? Practices that are an hour long, preaching nothing about defense. And on top of it all, did you know that when D'Antoni was coaching in Houston, you know how coaches show film, they get to your film room and they show the error and the mistakes and the errors of your ways and stuff like that? You know that? Do you know that when it came to James Harden, he would never do that? He never showed James Harden negative plays about James Harden. Hell, the situation was so touchy in Philly, Doc Rivers even allowed James Harden to take a day off and go to Vegas during the damn playoffs. And this is what he has to show for it. And if y'all don't believe me,
when you got here, you said that one of the reasons you wanted to come, if I'm not mistaken, was Doc. How has your relationship been with Doc, and would you like to see him back?
Our relationship is okay.
Does that sound like somebody that's enthusiastic about playing for coach? Who can't see that? Boo Boo the Fool can see that. So Doc Rivers is without a job. James Harden might get the coach he wants. But it doesn't necessarily mean that's the coach that's best for the Philadelphia 76ers. Let me tell you what it does mean. If James Harden ends up getting Mike D'Antoni as his coach in Philly, let me tell you what that means. That means that James Harden is the face of the Philadelphia franchise, not Joel Embiid. Because James Harden is the one that has a relationship with Daryl Morey. James Harden is the one that has a relationship with Mike D'Antoni. And if Joel Embiid allows that, then he deserves what he gets, even if he is the reigning league MVP.